Hello, hi, welcome back to The Other Way with me, Lebohang T. Silimela. It's been a great start to this week, unlike the previous week. I hope you're also having a great week. If not, let's look forward to next week. I had a tough week last week, so I haven't posted. If you've noted, you will see that I didn't post last week Wednesday and last week Sunday because I needed to regroup. I needed a breather. I needed to find myself so that I can be in one piece and to get going. Nonetheless, thank you so much for all of you who have supported me, who are subscribing, who are liking, who are engaging. I see you, but don't forget to like, don't forget to engage, don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe. Remember, I did say the more subscribers we have, the bigger the gifts are going to be. So we will definitely be having another giveaway this month, and you really don't want to miss out on that. So, this week's episode is inspired by what transpired in my life last week. My schedule was pretty hectic and I really needed a breather, to be honest with you. Then I came to this point of saying, how do you find yourself? In the midst of chaos, how do you find yourself? So, it is our title for today, Finding Yourself. So, I'll be talking about that, sharing techniques with you on how to find yourself. How do you find yourself again? I mean, we all come to those bleak periods that many of us encounter from time to time. You find yourself at loggerheads with life, and it seems like everything is going stale or stagnant, or you're even hitting the wall of life. Nothing is moving. You're not making any headway. You're just stuck. There's no breakthrough in your life. So, how do you find yourself? How do you find yourself again? Then there are those moments when you find like you reach a point in life where you just need a breakthrough. You are convinced that life will take a better turn and deal you the good cards. But then the barren of days just come, they just continue, and the emptiness just persists, and you just feel like any form of help will do you good at this point in time. Well, take this episode as one of those forms of help, like as a catalyst to help you to find yourself again. In this episode, I share with you how to tune out of the world and focus on you. So you are zooming in within to learn how you can heal and enrich your life in ways that are benefiting to you. So I asked myself, when I had trouble to manage my schedule, I was like, how does one regain control over their time, energy, thoughts, and focus on what is important and sift out everything that is rather useless and time stealers? How do you do that? Now, the techniques that I'm about to share with you, please don't think they border on procrastination. I know I did some episodes on procrastination. So I think to distinguish what I'm about to share with you now, I would advise you to check those episodes. The first technique that I apply whenever I hit a wall is to turn to my happiest moment when I was a child, I remember myself sitting in my mom's kitchen. My mom was a great cook, or she's still a great cook, especially baking. Her baking skills are just above board. So I would sit in the kitchen and watch her as she baked the cakes, and normally she would make these fat cakes, magwenya, and glaze those with some syrup and coconut. Oh, the thought of that, the smell of the syrup, the warmth, the heat that came from the oven, all of that just brings some good memories. The nostalgia just puts me in a peaceful, safe space. So that's my go-to place whenever I find myself in chaos. I go to those moments, my happiest places when I was a kid. Now, every time when I bring up those childhood memories, they remind me of how much I was loved as a kid and how loving my mom is. So, whenever that surge of love emerges through me, I sit in silence and just listen to that moment carefully. All sound gets lost, and what I've learned is that when you listen intently to your silent emotions, there is a fractional moment in which everything seems to come to a standstill. It just comes to a halt. And for a moment, when you truly listen for something outside of yourself, the mind comes to rest. It takes a breather. The mind just stops thinking, that goes into your mind. It just comes to a halt. As I've pointed, is that in that instant of stillness, the racing thoughts, they come to a standstill. For a moment when you truly listen to your thoughts, you figure out something that is outside of yourself. This is what it has taught me, that you can't hurry time. Like a certain amount of patience is needed in life if you want to make good strides, that is. So when I relive those childhood memories, I become centered in a space where I think of bigger things that are bigger than myself. And I think this is where I come up with the phrase where I say, in stillness, blessings fix us. It is in silence where you meet God. And it is in that moment when He says, be still and know that I am the Lord, that you get your bearings, you get your direction, you find your purpose in that space. The second technique that I use in trying to find myself again, which I also think it will be helpful for you, is to reach back. You need to reach back. I know you could be sitting somewhere then and listening to this and asking yourself, back to what? Reach back to what? Well, if you have noted, I've said that the first technique is to go to your happiest moment as a child. So naturally, when you reach back to such thoughts, you discover the wealth of happiness that you have forgotten. So by revisiting your past or reaching back to your past, you have to choose specific incidents that need clarity or that are still holding you backwards and hampering you from making headway. So you need to reach back to those. Maybe you didn't grieve a death of a loved one properly, or maybe you didn't heal from your divorce, or maybe there is something that happened, a traumatic experience that you're still harboring, and you would rather avoid it instead of facing it head on. That's what I mean by saying reach back. You need to reach back to that moment. I know a lot of us would rather choose the easy way out and say, whatever is in the past is in the past. But the sad reality is that our past tends to have a hold on our future. You find yourself you can't move on because there's still underlying issues that are out in the open and they need your attention, and you need to address those issues. So unless you go back to such moments where if you have to forgive people, you have to do that. I always say that forgiveness is the saving grace. When you forgive, when you let go of the baggage that you've been carrying, when you offload, you become lighter. You travel light, literally and figuratively. You really become lighter in the spirit and in the physical plane. So you need to go back to those incidents that are holding you backwards and address them. Only when you're ready and only when you have the strength to do so. The moment you do that, you'll be able to regain momentum to move forward. The last thing that you'd want to be in life is to be a grief collector. You're forever angry, you're forever resentful. And grief collectors start at a very young age. Most of us are broken because of what happened in the past when we were young. And we bring that into adulthood. Then we get surprised when we are dysfunctional. Because we are holding that whole baggage from the age of 6 years when you were 6 or 7. And you're bringing it to your 30s. You're still holding on to that. So I think that the primary edge, really, of wanting to hold on to pain for so long is because some people find significance in it. Some people are identified by their pain. It's my story, my story. They live in those moments and it holds them back. So in essence, go back, reach back to those painful moments that are holding you backwards. And forgive. Practice forgiveness. You have nothing to lose. I will emphasize, forgiveness is the saving grace. It really, really, really offloads a lot of baggage. And it will help you to discover what is within you. Because, when you are holding and harboring the injustices that were done to you, there's no reasoning. You're clouded. Your judgment will be clouded. But when you let go and you forgive, you are able to see things differently. And the last technique that you can use to find yourself again is to re-examine your motives. You might be tempted to be defensive and think, there's nothing wrong with my motives. I'm really not challenging that. Neither am I saying that your current motives are not good enough. No. That's not what I'm implying. I'm simply saying just take a moment and re-examine your motives, your intentions. If you're working, just ask yourself, why are you working? And why are you in that particular job? If you're studying, the same. Why are you studying? Why are you studying that particular field? Why are you studying in that particular field, rather? So you need to find yourself. You need to understand, why are you pursuing certain things? What is the intention behind everything that you undertake? So you need to examine that. Are you doing it because it's fulfilling within? Or are you doing it because you have to live up to the expectations of others? So you need to re-examine your motives. The truth is that if one's motives are wrong, nothing can ever be right. It makes no difference whether you are an engineer, a student, a housewife, a doctor, whatever your social standing is. When you are concerned only with yourself, in the grand scheme of things, your potential gets limited. Unfortunately, this is a universal law. If you don't know, the universal law that I'm talking about is the law of vibration. The energy you put out is going to be in alignment with the energy that you receive. It's like the flow of things. So when we say you're flowing against the tide of life, it's when your motives or your intentions are questionable, in a nutshell. So whatever you produce, as you do, so shall it be done to you. It's the law of vibration. There's no two ways about it. So when you re-examine your motives, you have to bring your intentions in alignment with your capabilities and conscious. Meaning, you start from within to outside so that your flow is congruent. You are in tune, meaning you're not flowing against the tide of life, but you are in sync. However, when the intentions are coming from outside, meaning that now that everything that you're doing, it's done because it's influenced from external forces, not within. It's not what you want inside, but it's because what my mom said, what my dad say, or what society is expecting me to do. That's when you flow against the tide of life. And one lesson that has been eminent throughout my life, one thing that I've really observed is that when your intentions are pure, the universe expands its resources towards your cause. There is no way that good deeds won't be rewarded. I bet on it. People might say that kindness does not pay. Rest assured, kindness does pay. It might not pay in the currency that you are familiar with, but it definitely pays in grace. I always like telling my friends that grace goes where money can't reach. Those are the 3 simple precepts I would like to share with you. I hope in your state of confusion or in the midst of chaos, you'll be able to apply those and find yourself again. Thank you so much for watching the episode. Until next week, Wednesday, do stay blessed and enjoy your Sunday.